Okay, welcome to 10-2 Explain Analyzing a Source Document. Going back to like day number 1 in accounting, a source document is either, well, it could be many things, but in this case it's going to be a check. It could be a check stub, it could be an invoice, it could be a memo. There's other types of source documents out there. The one we're looking at right now is actually, it looks like an invoice that we're going to be making a payment on to the water department. Department of Water and Power. So, identifying the accounts that are going to be affected. Well, we would say number one, the first account that's going to be affected, and it tells you right here, we know it's going to be the expense account. And where do we spend money from? We're going to say the cash and bank account. So we have an expense account and cash and bank account. And then the second part of that transaction, you can see noted down here, it says record the closing entry for the utilities expense of $129. Well, let's just do the transaction first. And we're going to say number one, the accounts that are affected. Identify the accounts affected. Cash and bank, utilities expense. Classify the accounts that are affected. Well, cash and bank is an asset. The increased side is going to be the debit. And the expense account is a temporary account under the capital, and that is going to increase by debit. Now, do we have more money or less money? Well, we have less money, so we know that that transaction is going to be affecting the credit side of the cash and bank. There's your $129 credit. Well, you need a debit to match every credit, so we have $129 increase in utility expense. So there is our debit. So what would you do? Record the debit first, because debits are, I should say credits are very polite to the debits, and they always let them go first. So here you go. Debit utility expense for $129 and credit your cash and bank for $129. That being said, the second part of the transaction is asking us to record the closing entry. Well, now we want to close this particular account here. Okay? If you have a debit balance, you're going to need to make sure the debits equal the credits, right? So here we go. So here's our closing entry of $129, and that's going to be our credit. And it gets closed, as you can see, from the expense getting closed into the income summary noted on the above chart. We know that that is going to be, well, that's your credit, here's your debit. So simple enough, folks. There's your second part of the transaction. That concludes 10-2 analyzing a source document. In this case, it was a water and power bill, and it was dated, let's see, April 15th. It tells us that right here in the question itself. Don't look here. This is the invoice date. Okay, and there you go. So that concludes 10-2. That is less than 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Not too bad.